Hello everyone, and welcome to Sweet Stitches Quilt Shop. Today is First Friday Demonstration Day. Won't you join me over at the cutting table? Well, here we are at the cutting table, and for the month of April, I decided that Demonstration Day I would revisit one of my favorite quilt patterns that I had ever done, and that is the quilt that's behind me here. This is the Swoon quilt, and it is by Thimble Blossoms. I love any kind of quilt block where it kind of radiates from the center. And this is just a really fun star quilt to put together. It is a traditional carpenter's wheel. If you've ever, looked through different quilt books, you might recognize this pattern. So I thought that I would show you the original one that I made. And then I decided I was going to make the giant size that we have here, which is one large block, and it's called Simply Swoon. And this time I used, of course, my favorite ruler, which is the folded corner clipper ruler by Creative Grids. And I wish that I would have had this ruler back when I made the original quilt, because when I made the original quilt, I did a lot of half square triangles and corner squares and flying geese to make this quilt. And the folded corner clipper ruler does all of that. And so this time around, when I made the giant one that I'm going to show you here at the table, I decided that I was going to use the folded corner clipper ruler. And of course, it comes in the small size like this. But for a quilt this large, I needed to use the extra large size. So this goes up to 10 inches, this one goes up to 5. So this one would be perfect to do the normal size swoon quilt, but for the extra large one here, I had to go and use the extra large folded corner clipper ruler. Let me show you the quilt. You can kind of see it there, but I used fun kind of crisp colors on the navy blue background. This one will be a fun one to pull up. The pattern, both patterns are by Thimble Blossoms, and they are designed by Camille Ross Kelly, and she is a designer for Moda, for fabrics for Moda, so you might recognize the name. We have the regular swoon, which is 9 blocks, like you see here. And then the large one that is called Simply Swoon is just one large block. Both quilts are 72 inches by 72 inches. So it's a nice big quilt. It looks great on a wall or a bed. And I think that the style of this would be great for those people that are really getting into the whole farmhouse style of decorating, because it's a traditional kind of quilt block that you might see on barns. This class for the large one block Simply Swoon is on the class calendar, and it's going to take place on April 20th and 27th. It's going to be a 2-part class, and it's from 10:30 to 12:30. Of course, you can check your calendars or come in and ask questions, but we have both patterns here. And these aren't the only 2 swoons out there. She has a patchwork swoon where it's all patchwork in these white areas here and in the center star. And then there's also the mini swoon. There is swoon 16, which is 16 blocks that are smaller than this that have sashing between them too. So there's lots of different swoon blocks out there. Hopefully you'll give it a try. Like I said, it's one of my favorite. They're fun to put together. And you can use lots of different fabrics in the smaller size ones. So the theme this month, I ended up calling it Double the Fun, because with the 2 swoon blocks that I was going to show you, it kind of started a theme. And the next quilt that I have here is called Jubilee, and it just so happens that the next quilt I'm going to show you is also called Jubilee. It's a whole different style. but it started a whole theme, and so I decided, why not? I mean, we have 2 folded corner clipper rulers, we have 2 swoon quilts, and we have 2 Jubilee quilts. So the quilt here that I have here that I want to share with you is the Jubilee quilt, and it's made with grunge, and it's also made with cider, which was a line that came out last year that we just love here at the shop for its soft, pretty colors and patterns. And the fabric line was designed by the people that design grunge, basic gray. So when I was choosing the fabrics, I needed something with lots of different pattern and color, and this line worked perfect for that. So the pattern is called the Jubilee quilt pattern, and it is by It's So Emma. It was really easy to put together, and of course I used my favorite ruler on it again, because there are these rectangle shapes that are in the block that you need to cut the corners off of 2 ends of the rectangle. There's also flying geese, or I should say there's rectangles that also have kind of almost a flying geese pattern at the top and at the bottom of them that create the star points. So the folded corner clipper ruler was great for that. So this is Jubilee, and it's also going to be on the class calendar, and it's going to be April 8th and 15th. And it's a 2-part class, and it'll be a lot of fun. I will be the teacher of that one, as well as the swoon class. Hopefully you sign up and join us for it. So I said they were going to be different. This quilt, this wall hanging here in front of me, is called Jubilee, and it is by In the Doghouse Designs. It is an applique, it's fusible applique, and it also has prairie points on it. So these are folded triangles that are actually loose on here. Right now they're just tacked down until I get the quilting done on it. And then you're supposed to put a little button at the top of each one of these triangles for a decorative look. This could also be a very good center of a quilt and create some borders around it too. So it doesn't have to be a wall hanging, you can make it bigger. This is called Jubilee. So to add to the Double the Fun theme, I have a quilt here that I made out of gray batiks and gray and black batiks with a white grunge called Fog. It's a great color. This quilt is called Double Twist, so it goes along with our double theme. And you can see how each row they kind of make a twisting effect. And sometimes it's easier to see the twisting effect if you turn it on its side. But this is a fun quilt. It was easy to put together, and I think that the colors make a nice masculine kind of look. I think the younger folks out there would love the gray. They seem to love the gray fabrics. So this will be a good one for the young people. So this quilt is a pattern by Cut Loose Patterns. They design creative grids, and the patterns are meant to go along with the different rulers that they make. And so, of course, the ruler that goes along with this one is the folded corner clipper ruler, and it has a lot of great, nice graphic design to it. And if you choose colors that have a little bit more contrast than what I chose, you can really see the twisting effect a little bit more, but I was going with the whole understated look, so a little less contrast, but still a cool effect. So the patterns are very inexpensive. They're like $3.50 because they know that you're going to have to buy the ruler to create the pattern. So they're always a great buy. So we've added another class to Mondays. It's actually going to be Monday, April 11th. This is a class that Linda's going to do. It is a disappearing pinwheel. So you begin with pinwheel shapes like this, and then you're going to chop them up and create 2 different quilt blocks with it. So again, it's adding to our double theme here. You get 2 blocks out of 1. We have one here with more of a friendship star in it, and another with a churn dash block. But you can see they both have a little tiny pinwheel in the center of them. They're very cute blocks. It's very easy to do. I have a lot of new beginning quilters out there, and this would be a great class for you to take to kind of work on your skills with triangles and just to have fun making the blocks together. So that is the disappearing pinwheel, and that's going to be April 11th from 10:30 to 12:30, and Linda's going to be the teacher for that one. So Darla has a couple of fun projects coming up in the months of April and May. We are starting an AccuQuilt project of the month. We've done 2 of them so far since the beginning of the year. It's a really cute projects that she's come up with. In the April class, we're going to be making tulip placemats, and you'll be cutting out pieces, the tulip pieces, in class on our AccuQuilt cutting system. And so you do not have to be an AccuQuilt quilter in order to take the class. You can come in, use our cutter and our dies, cut out your shapes to make your placemats for Easter or for the whole spring season. She has classes for this project on April 14th, and we're going to have 2 different time slots for that, and we're taking 6 people in each class. That's the 10:30 to 12:30 class or the 2 to 4 class. And of course you're going to need to bring your fabrics, or of course you can get them here. And you'll be able to cut out, and she's going to teach you about fusible applique too in the class and the stitching on it. So it'll be a fun project. It'll give you a chance to try out AccuQuilt if you're not an AccuQuilter. Of course, AccuQuilters are also invited to take the class too. But you'll be using the tulip die here that we have in the shop. Or if you just want to make them on your own, of course you can come in and buy the die. So for May, she's chosen to do a May basket wall hanging. Very cute with these little daisies. And it's going to take place on May 12th. And of course, we're going to have 2 time slots for that you can sign up for, either the 10:30 to 12:30 or the 2 to 4 class. In this one, you're going to be using the cube dies to create the different pieces and the strip cutters to make the wall hanging. Or it could be a table topper. Either way, it's very cute. So if you think you want to try out AccuQuilt and take the class, come on in and sign up. Darla's been busy this month, and she has put together our next block of the month here at the shop called Lakeside. The fabrics are by Wilmington Batiks, and it's a beautiful design with blues and greens. Let me show you the quilt. What I can of the quilt. It is a huge quilt. I believe it is 96 by 96. I could be wrong on that. We have only a couple of places left. We've already had a bunch of people that have signed up for it. We're not quite sure when it's going to begin because we're waiting on the fabrics to come in. But once they come in, we're going to be cutting those kits and getting them ready for you. But call quick if you want to be part of the block of the month. It is a 10-month block of the month. So each month you would come in, pick up your kit. We're going to have some classes for the very first couple of blocks, just because we're going to start here in the center, and it's going to be an introduction and a little how-to as far as how to treat your batik fabrics and the best ways to sew them together. So if you're interested in it, please give the shop a call soon, because like I said, we only have a couple of spots left. This is called Lakeside, and it's going to be the new block of the month here at the shop as soon as the fabrics come in. So my last item that I'm going to share with you today is more of an announcement. We have doubled the amount of colors that we have in Iris thread here at the shop. And we've brought in more large cones because a lot of you are really loving sewing with the iris thread. It's a wonderful thread. It is what's called a gast thread, and so it's a very nice thread to sew with. We keep this on our machines all the time. We're big fans of the pearl gray color because it tends to blend into all the different colored fabrics that we work with here at the shop. But this is a very small amount of the colors, the new colors that we have in, and it's a great buy too. There's 3,000 yards of thread on the iris spools, or we have the smaller spools too, which I think are 500 yards. We got more colors of the smaller spools too, and we have more colors of the embroidery threads that we carry, which are a 40 weight embroidery thread. They have a beautiful sheen to them, and a lot of our embroider fans out there really love to use them in their projects. If you think that you want to go with the larger cones like this to sew with, which, you know, it's always great to have the white, the black, and a gray, and a nice tan color, but I also use these for quilting my projects too. So I do free motion here at the shop, and when I do, I like to use the iris thread because it just quilts up beautifully on the quilts. And now it comes in more colors for me to play with, which is going to be fun. But not everyone's machine can handle a big cone of thread like this. So what we recommend is that you have a thread stand that sits out front to the side of your machine, and you thread it through here and then over across into your normal threading path. But it's a really great way to use these larger size threads. It's a better deal, and we know all of us need to save some money these days. Go ahead and check them out. We do have the adjustable thread stands. These are telescoping stands, so that you can put them away when you're not using the larger spools and bring it back out when you're ready to use it again. And the thread that we have is Iris brand, and we hope you come in and try it because it's a really great thread. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for joining me for Double the Fun. It was fun because I had you here with me to share these projects with, and I hope that you join me next month in May. We'll see you then. Have a great day, everyone.